I hope you're doing amazing and thank you for clicking on my video. I'm Chloe and today I'm going to share with you 5 tips to go thrift shopping. I have recently been thrift shopping quite a lot, or second-hand shopping if you want, and I have come across a few things that I think are important while going on the hunt for amazing pieces. So I thought I would share them with you. I have actually also done a thrift haul not too long ago, so you should definitely check out that video as well. It's gonna be linked up there in the corner and also in the down bar below. So let's get started. Tip number 1, wear the right clothes. The most important thing to do when going thrift shopping is wearing the right clothes, because you're not always gonna have a changing room around, or it might not be as clean as you would like it to be, and you also don't want to be stuck with really complicated clothes to wear. So here are 5 things to think about when dressing for thrift shopping. First of all, don't put on high heels. Nobody wants to go shopping in high heels. You can take a pair if you want to be like prepared to try dresses or anything. You can put them in your handbag, but don't put them on your feet. You're gonna be thankful, believe me. Number 2, wear a carry-on bag that you can put on a strap, like a crossbody bag, or maybe one that you can put on your shoulder, but just think that you want to have both of your hands free. Number 3, don't wear anything with too many buckles, belts, buttons, just anything that's in your way for taking off your clothes and putting them back on fast, because you are gonna be so sick of having to unbutton your entire shirt 5 times in a row if you want to try something. Number 4, wear something comfy. So that goes along with number 3, where you don't want to buckle up that many things. For instance, one of my favorite shopping outfits is just a pair of black leggings and a black tank top with anything on top of it depending on the season. So for instance, if you're wearing those black leggings with a black tank top, even if you want to try a really colorful shirt, you can just throw it on top, or if you want to try some kind of bottom that is very colorful or anything, you have a black cami on top, so nothing is going to distract from the other piece you're trying. You kind of want to avoid having too bright colors that are not going to match with anything you try, because this way you're not going to be able to see if you actually like the piece or not. And having a very kind of calm outfit and easy outfit is gonna help you figure out what other pieces would be great to wear. For summer, obviously, just throw on a shirt and a skirt. Never put on a dress, because a dress is very unpractical if you want to try a top or a bottom, because you're always going to be stuck half naked, which isn't really a good thing. So make sure you're wearing something that is 2-piece and that is easy to take on and off. And number 5 is pretty easy, because it is just to go shopping looking quite decent. Now, this might seem very weird to you, but to be honest, I prefer going shopping when my hair is done and I have a bit of makeup on my face, because you're not gonna like looking at your reflection in a mirror, and you're not actually gonna really look at how the clothes look if you're not happy at how you look right now. So for me, if I have like just really messy hair and no makeup on and I just look tired and cranky, I'm not gonna like anything I try on, because it's just not gonna look good. So really, just even minimal effort is enough, but just feel happy with the way you look when you walk out the door, because that way you're also really going to be able to focus on the clothes you're actually trying. Tip number 2, Google the brand. So sometimes when you're thrift shopping, you come across things that you don't really know the brand of, because it's maybe not one of these huge brands that are around, or you just have never heard of it. This can happen for clothes, shoes, but it can also happen with paintings or anything else that you can find at a thrift shop. So pick up your phone and just Google the brand, because this way you're actually gonna know what it is, what it's worth, if it's rare, or if it's something maybe expensive that you can get at a really good price. So you should definitely check out what you actually have in front of you. As I've mentioned before, I have recently been thrift shopping quite a lot, and not so long ago I came across these shoes. Now, these shoes just popped into my eye because they're so sparkly and cool, and I tried them on and they fit perfectly. I was so happy, but I didn't really know the brand. I saw that it's made in Italy, which is always a good sign. I just noticed that it had this 181 on the back and in the insole, on the outsole, everywhere. So I picked out my phone and Googled the brand, and I actually found out that it's called 181, and it's an Italian brand that normally retails at about more than 200 francs a pair. So I was very thrilled when I picked them up for, well, definitely not 200 francs. So you can see, sometimes Googling the brand that is just in front of your nose might be a really good thing, because you might find little treasures like that. Tip number 3, look at those shoes. When buying shoes in a thrift store or a second-hand store, there is one thing that you need to look at, and that is to avoid buying shoes that are just yucky and too used to wear, which normally the really bad ones you see from a mile away. But there is a way that you can detect which shoes have really hardly been worn or haven't been worn at all. The first thing to do, quite obviously, is just to analyze the top bit of the shoe. Do they have any scraps? Are they discolored? Or do they have any kind of little thing that you would find when you have worn those shoes for quite a while? For me, for this one right here, it was very important to check that all the glitter was still on, that it wasn't missing any big patches of glitter, or that anything was kind of destroyed from rubbing against each other, which I couldn't detect, so that was very good. Then step number 2 is actually to look at the bottom of the shoe, because you can very easily tell if it has been used outside already. This one here has probably been worn maybe once, and probably just inside a house, because it is still very white, and you can see that there's not a lot of dirt or a lot of like scraps on the bottom of the shoe, which is a very good sign. You can see that, for instance, this one right here that I picked up as well is a bit more used. So this one was probably worn out for 1 or maybe 2 nights to go out, but it's still in a quite okay condition, so that's not a big deal. And then the third tip to examine if a shoe is still okay is actually looking at the inside sole of the shoe. Because if the shoe has been worn a lot, you will see that the inside is very discolored, maybe has some kind of like residue from any kind of like colored socks. Well, not in these ones, but maybe in these. Or just that the inside is somehow damaged. So here you can see that it's still very smooth, there's no discoloration, there's no kind of like imprint or anything in the shoe. So this definitely hints at this shoe not being used that much. So the girl probably bought them, wore them once, and noticed that they weren't that comfy for her feet. So I was lucky. That's how you detect if you should buy the shoes that are in front of you or not. Tip number 4, check all the aisles. This is really something you need quite a bit of endurance and just kind of patience for, because in thrift stores or second-hand stores, most of the time the items are so diverse, there's everything mixed together. Sometimes they sort them after very weird ways. So for instance, there's one thrift store that I know that they just sort everything after color, and they don't care about sizes, so you just literally have to look through the whole aisle to even know if you're gonna find anything in that color in your size, which of course is very time consuming and not very handy. Another thrift store that I like quite a lot, for instance, does the same thing. They split it after color, but they also split it after size. So you have those little sectionings where you see if it's an S, an M, an L, an XL, and this is very handy because you can look at just the part where you know your size kind of fits in, and it just saves you a lot of time. But you should be careful because sometimes things just end up in the wrong aisle or in the wrong section, or you might actually be able to wear something that is an S where normally you wear only M's, or sometimes you want to go for something a bit oversized. So size differentiation is good, but sometimes you need to be a bit creative and a bit courageous and look into the other size sections as well. You might discover a few little treasures here and there. Tip number 5. Do the smell test. Now this is something that some of my friends have laughed at me before, but I assure you, you will thank me later if you do this. I am talking about really having a good smell of what you buy. Because especially with jackets or blazers, this can be a tricky point. Normally, there's no problem at all. If you buy something from a thrift store or a second-hand store, you can just wash it and it's gonna be perfectly fine. I mean, it's just clothes that can be washed, so no big deal there. But there's one thing with blazers and jackets, and it's the lining. Because the lining is sometimes polyester or just a material that takes up smells quite easily, you have to be careful. And this is why, for instance, if you would pick up this jacket, what I would just very discreetly do in a store is just, you know, have a little smell of the armpit area and just make sure that it smells okay. Now you might think I'm really going crazy with this, but believe me, I have in the past picked up a jacket and haven't put my nose on it, and I was very disappointed because when I came home and I actually gave it to the dry cleaner and got it back, it still smelled kind of funky. So you really want to avoid this, and you know, if you pick up a jacket and you're so in love with it and then you find out that you can't really wear it because you're gonna smell weirdly, that is not a cool thing. So just give it a little smell test and you'll know that you will be safe and sound and smelling fabulous. So guys, these were my 5 tips to go thrift shopping. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to hit that subscribe button down below. It's just a little click. If you have any tips to go thrift shopping, make sure to leave a comment below and let me know. I would love to hear what you think is important. I wish you an awesome time and I hope to see you again soon. Bye! Now, the second pair of shoes I found is a little bit out there, if you want, and it's these. I'm so excited about these.